Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, we're going to take a look at 5 zone defenses that you can set up that are going to allow you to get pressure on the quarterback with just a 4-man pass rush. The very last defense that we show in the video breakdown, we're actually going to do 2 of them where we show a 4-man pass rush, and then we'll talk about one of them that you can set up as a 3-man pass rush. The Nickel 3-3 single mug DB Blitz Text 3 is another defense that you can bring some pressure on the quarterback with just a 4-man pass rush. Now, this particular play, the pressure is generally going to come from this guy off the edge here as he blitzes off of here. Now, to get this down to 4 pass rushers, right now you would have 5. What you want to do is you want to shift the defensive line to the left, and then you're going to call show blitz. Now, you don't have to do the show blitz, but I prefer to do that. Now, some of you may not want to do that because it does bring the defensive backs up closer to the line of scrimmage. And then you want to take control of this guy right here, which is going to be this defensive end. And you can put him in whatever you want. I'm going to put him in for this breakdown here for the purpose of it. Put him into a hard flat. And then you just want to switch over to this middle linebacker. You don't need to do anything else with him. You're just going to user him and try to take away anything that's going to be over the short middle of the field. Now watch as this guy off the edge, he's going to end up shooting through and putting that pressure on the quarterback as you watch this. So let's go ahead and run this. And right there, you can see he brings the pressure on the quarterback. And you, like I said, you just user that light linebacker. So that's one of the ways you can bring some pressure from this particular defense with just a 4-man pass rush. The Nickel Overload 3 Seam is another defense you can bring a 4-man pass rush with, and it's pretty simple to do. And what we're looking for is to get A-gap pressure coming from this linebacker who'll shoot through this gap right here between the center and the left guard. Now, to achieve that, the first thing you're going to do is call 𝗬𝗵𝗀𝗀. As you can look at your screen, and then you just simply need to bring this guy up a little bit. Now, that's going to be the nickel back that you're in control of. Now, at this point, as you look at it, you can see that we still have a 5-man pass rush. But what you're going to do with him is you're going to stay in control of him. And then what you want to do is you want to allow him to go up maybe a couple yards, and then you're going to drop him back in this area here. Let me show you what I'm going to show here as we go through this. So once the ball snapped, you're going to let him come up maybe 1 or 2 yards, and then you're going to drop him back either in that coverage there, or you can drop him back in this area here. It's whatever you want to do with him for the most part, but you are going to use him. The key to this is to make sure that this linebacker right here, make sure that he gets through the A-gap before you end up doing that. So you got to wait just a minute just for him to do it, or wait a second. And the other thing is you want to watch this guy right here, which is going to be the left guard. Make sure that he ends up blocking preferably this defender right here, which is going to be this end. That's what you need to happen, or at least get near him. All right, let's go ahead and snap it and see what happens here. So right there, you're just going to drop him back, and there you got, there's your A-gap. You can see I dropped that guy back, got the pressure on the quarterback. So that's pretty simple as far as bringing that pressure on the quarterback. Now, another way you can run this is pretty much the same thing, but this time we're going to call show blitz. What that's going to do is going to bring that linebacker up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, but it's the same thing as far as bringing pressure on the quarterback. So what you're going to do is I'm going to move him out just a little bit to make sure he's in 𝗬𝗵𝗀𝗀. I'm talking about that nickel back. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to allow him to come up a couple yards, and then we're just going to drop back into pass coverage. So that's a way that you can get pressure with the Nickel Overload 3 Seam with just a 4-man pass rush. The Nickel 3-3 load mug Nickel Blitz 3 is another defense that you can get a 4-man pass rush without having to make a whole lot of pre-snap adjustments. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. I'll show you how to set it up. This guy right here is going to be the one that we're looking to get pressure from. Now, what he's going to do here is he's actually going to go through the B gap as you look at your screen between the left guard and left tackle and apply that pressure on the quarterback. Now, as far as setting this up, the one defender that you can do to make it a 4-man pass rush, and you can actually hot route him, is going to be this defender right here. Now I'm going to put him on a hard flat as you look at your screen right there. So you can see there. And at that point, you just want to switch off to this linebacker here, the one that I'm in control of, and you're just going to take away anything over the short middle of the field. Let's go ahead and run it and watch that nickel back as he comes through and he ends up getting that pressure on the quarterback. As I said, it's going to take a bit of time. Now, one of the other things you can do with this defense, if you want to make it a little bit faster, what you can do right there is you can call show blitz right there as you look at your screen, and then the next thing is you can call 𝗬𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀, and then you're going to simply do the same thing before. You're going to take control of that guy right there, and you're going to put him in a hard flat, and then you'll switch back over to this defender there. And this would be another way. Now, the only difference here is you're probably going to get more likely the outside pressure, such as you're seeing on the screen. One last thing you could consider doing, I just want to show it to you briefly here. This would be something that some of you guys may not want to do, but I want to just run it for you guys briefly here. You can take control of this guy right here And this is going to be a linebacker who's going to be blitzing off the edge or the edge rusher. And what you can do with him is you can take him like this way, and you see how I just cleared out all that gap? That's another example. Now, the downside of that would be it's technically a 5-man pass rush. Although, as you were to watch here, what you would do is once he gets going up the field and finally gets that left tackle to come towards you, then you could drop him back into the hard flat over to the left. Let's run this one more time and see if I can get it to work. But that'd be something else you can consider doing. I know a lot of you guys may not want to do this one, so let's go ahead and put this guy into a hard flat. Switch back over to him again one more time, and we're just simply trying to get this left tackle to look to block us. In that case, it didn't work very well, as you can see. And so that might be something you might want to just take a look at and work with, but that's another way of doing it. You can see it does work. It's just, you got to be really good about it, and you got to time it just right to get this guy to draw out on you. See how I'm getting him to draw out, and then you can get it to work that way. All right. So that's another example of a way you could run this nickel 3-3 load mug nickel blitz 3. The 3-3-5 Overflex Nickel Sim 3 is another defense that you can bring a 4-man pass rush. Now, as you look at this particular defense, you're going to notice there's only a 4-man pass rush to begin with as you look at it. Now, to make this pass rush work, you do have to add one more defender, but we're still going to get a 4-man pass rush as far as rushing the quarterback. And that's going to be this linebacker as you look at your screen. You're going to notice that I'm going to hot route him into a blitz. Now, what you need to do with him is you need to allow him to take a couple steps up, and then what you're going to do is you're going to drop him back. So you're going to allow him to go up a couple steps, and then you're going to drop him back into coverage. Now, the pressure is going to come from this nickel back off the edge here, and he's going to come and get the quarterback. Let's go ahead and run it and take a look at it, see what kind of pressure we can generate with this particular defense. And right there, you can see we get the pressure on the quarterback. Now, the other way of running this one would be to do this one adjustment, and that's to call 𝗬𝗵𝗍𝗀𝗀 contain. So now we got that nickel back in 𝗬𝗵𝗍𝗀𝗀 contain, and then you're going to take control of that linebacker and do the same thing before. You're just going to hot route him to blitz, and then you're going to allow him to come up a couple yards up, and then you're just going to drop him back into pass coverage. So this is another way of getting a 4-man pass rush from this particular defense. So this one's called 3-3-5 Overflex Nickel Sim 3. All right, the nickel double mug nickel overload 3 is another defense that you can get a 4-man pass rush. I'm actually going to show you 3 different setups with this particular defense where you can get pressure. Now, one of them, which is going to be the third, is probably the nicest of the 3, but with that said, it probably doesn't always work as well as the other 2 or is consistent, although it is faster. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I'll show you how to set this first one up. Now, it's real easy to do. What we're looking for to get pressure, at least with the first 2 defenses, is going to be from this guy right here. At least the first 2 blitz setups we're showing here is going to be that guy there. The first thing you want to do is you want to take control of this guy right here, which is this defensive tackle, and you can put him into whatever you want. I'm going to put him in, for the purpose of this video breakdown, I'm going to put him in a hook curl to the right as you look at your screen right there. And at that point, you can switch off to whoever you want. Say, most of us will probably just switch off to this guy right here, the one that's playing the 3-receiver hook. And what you're going to get is you're going to get some, generally you're going to end up getting some B-gap pressure, such as that, what you see on your screen right there. So that one's pretty simple to set up, doesn't take a whole lot, and you still get that 4-man pass rush. Another way you can set this one is to go ahead and show blitz and then call 𝗬𝗵𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀 contain. And again, you're going to do the same thing that we talked about earlier. You're just going to put this guy in that right hook curl right there, and then we'll switch off to that defender right there again. And then you're just looking to possibly get some pressure coming from the outside. There, he actually went in between the left guard and left tackle. This third blitz setup that I want to show out, the nickel double mug nickel overload 3, is another one that does bring some pressure, but it's only a 3-man pass rush. The thing about this particular one I'm about to show, it doesn't always get the pressure on the quarterback real consistently, but it does get in there. And that's just why I want to show it to you guys. So this is something you guys might want to lab and see if you guys can make it a little better. And if you guys do lab it and you find something better with it, let me know and post it in the comments. But at any rate, let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what kind of pressure we can get with this one. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take control of this guy right here. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing I've been doing with this particular defense here. So I'm going to put him into a hook curl. Next, you want to take control of this linebacker right here, and you're going to put him into a hook curl. All right, that's the setup right there as far as it goes. Now, what we're looking for is we're looking to actually get pressure, not from that defender right here, as far as what we've shown the first 2 setups here, is this guy. Instead, it's going to be him. And I know you're thinking, well, how's he going to get through? Well, watch what happens here when I switch over to this guy right here as you look at your screen. Now, I'm going to bring him over just a little bit to the right. And the idea of this is to try to get the center to block into this direction there. And then what will happen is eventually he'll try to come back and try to end up blocking this pass rusher that's coming in, which is this guy right here. As you look at your screen, he'll try to block that guy, but hopefully he'll be a little bit late. If he's not late and he tries to pick up the blitz or the rush, it'll be towards the end as you get near the quarterback. So I'm going to go and take control of the quarterback. I just want you guys to watch this. And he may not always get in, but right there, you can see right there. See how he comes in right there? He gets that inside. He gets to the, basically gets position on the blocker right there where he's able to get in there. And that's the key to that. So I'm going to run this one more time just so you guys can see it. Now, I know he got blocked towards the end, but if your opponent was a step up or if he sees that coming, he's going to probably try to get rid of the ball. It doesn't mean you have to get a sack, but if you can at least make your opponent throw the ball quicker than he wants to, then this works, in my opinion, pretty nicely, even though it doesn't always register a sack for you. So I just want to point that out. So again, you're just going to take control of this guy right here. You're going to move him over, and then you're just going to do this, and you're just going to hope that that guy barrels in and gets the pressure on the quarterback, such as you see on your screen. So anyways, that's another blitz you guys can run from this particular play. Again, if you guys got any kind of comments for this particular blitz or any other blitzes I've shown here as far as 4-man pass rushes, except for this one, which is a 3-man pass rush, please post them in the comments and let me know what you guys think. To finish things up, I just want to point out these are 4-man pass rushes. Now, does it mean you're always going to get pressure every single time? Of course not. If they were to leave 6 guys in the pass block, you're probably not going to get pressure. But just remember, if they got 5 in there and you're only sending 4, that means you've got 7 defenders dropping back in some type of zone coverage. Also, I want to remind you guys, if you guys are looking for these plays, you can find them all out of the Commander's Playbook. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more Madden guides, strategy, and tips content. See you in the next video.